Well, the topic of this lecture will be the sources of our knowledge. How do we know what we know? What are the sources that we should rely on when we want to understand the days of the Bible in a broader way? Well, the Bible, of course, tells us, but the Bible is not a history book. The Bible is not interested to speak about world events. The Bible views the whole era through one scope, and one scope only was the individuals or the nation loyal to God. Everything is presented in a way of reward for good behavior and punishment for ill behavior. And therefore, if you want to understand more about the biblical world, we need to go to other sources and we need to understand the broader story. Of course, the Bible focuses on a certain area and limited in geography as well. Until about a century and a half ago, when archaeology was not as common, you could only rely on some few epigraphic sources. The Bible is number one. Number two was the books of Josephus Flavius, a Jewish historian that focuses on Jewish history, but he brings in a lot of information that the Bible does not mention. We had the writings of some Greek historians, etc., but we're missing the details, and that's why archaeology is so important. If you think about a puzzle of 1 million pieces in it, I think that by now we were able to collect about 3/4 of it, and most of it will be pieces that are coming from the world of archaeology. Now, archaeology can be confusing because sometimes you build a whole story based on what was excavated so far, and then you find a piece, you try to fit it in, and it doesn't fit. And you have to revise everything that you thought that you know and start all over again. More information adds sometimes confusion and not necessarily clarity. And therefore, we have to say that in order to understand what we understand today, it's a combination of the written sources, Bible number one, other ancient sources, plus a lot of archaeology. And as we speak, excavations are being done, and every day something else is published to add more to the information, sometimes contradicting what we knew so far. It's a very dynamic issue. Few things that we need to understand will be the following. Number one, the Bible tells the story of real people who lived in a real world. Sometimes we address them as supernatural beings, but they were not. They had their struggles and their challenges. When you speak about the kings of Israel, you need to understand what were the main confrontations they dealt with. But the Bible doesn't give us that aspect. The Bible never tells us the king fought bravely. For example, the Bible gives us a very simple report with the focus of God and his people.